Hello, hello. We are going to start looking at the United States natal chart, and the birth date and time I have is July 4th, 1776, 5:10 p.m., Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is kind of the common agreed time, but I want to start looking more at the planets, and then we can look further at like the ascendant and the houses, which I'll mention, but just we'll kind of have that leaning while we're starting to look at this. So I want to just start with thinking about this as a person or an individual, so to speak. Um, it just kind of makes it easier than a country, but I don't know if it makes it comfortable for you, but I don't know, maybe give it some sort of a personal, entity, take a look at from that point of view. So if we're going to look at this being or this being, um, I want to just do a typical rundown. Basically, that's kind of I guess what I'm getting at. And one of the things that we like to do, in our study group is to do what we know, look at what we know. So if we, first of all, tally up all of the planets, just, make our little chart, make our list, take a piece of paper, if you don't have these printed out, you can just take a piece of paper and write sun, moon, all of the planets going out, I guess, from the sun. That's how I do it. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the ascendant, if you know it. And then off to the side, write what sign each of those is in. Like, here we have the sun is in Cancer, and the moon is Aquarius, Mercury is in Cancer, Venus is in Cancer. All right, so we write those out. And then off to the side of that, you're going to write what that is. So Cancer then it's rise. Cancer is the cardinal water, and then the moon would be fixed air, and then Mercury would be cardinal water, Venus would be cardinal water, Mars would be mutable air, all the way down. Just tally all of those up. And when you finish tallying that, you'll get a majority of the planets of being cardinal. 6 of them are cardinal, 4 of them are mutable, and 1 of them is fixed. So we know that the United States doesn't have a lot of fixed energy, but we're going to look further. This is just the first look. We'll see where, we'll also look at the houses that they fall in, because that could also flavor it. But this is first look. We will look at this just like we would anything else, any person or any situation or whatever. We're going to look at it the same. And then if you tally up the elements, fire, earth, air, and water, 1 fire, which is the ascendant, and then 2 earth, 4 air, and 4 water. So there's a little tie between the air and the water. So if you say, all right, cardinal water would be Cancer oriented. So that would be kind of a flavor of a Cancer. But then if we go cardinal air, because it's 4 of each, it would be the Libra, or the justice, or the fairness. So we have a little bit of both of those. Home, family, fair, justice is kind of like just the overall tone when you look at the flavor of everything. You just average it all up. We're going to throw all of those planets in at that, all of those areas like that, and this is the soup we get. So it's kind of a cardinal signed air water soup. And it's like a Cancer Libra flavor. So if you think Cancer Libra flavor, then that's kind of like a hard square there, a summer to fall kind of square kind of energy. It's like, all right, then we just take that in. Okay, that's the first little note. And then I start to then look, well, sun, moon, and let me grab my notes here. Sun, moon, and rising sign. And we do know rising, so we'll just take it into account at this point. And we look at, because we work those out, we see that the sun, cardinal water, the moon in Aquarius is a fixed air, and the ascendant is Sagittarius, a mutable fire. They're all in a different quality and a different element. So they're all, they're in conjunct just about. The sun is in conjunct to the moon. The sun is in conjunct to the ascendant. So yeah, there's a couple of those things going on. Now the ascendant, we got what? The ascendant to the moon, we have a sextile, right? But not totally by degree, but the moon was moving. So I would say that yes, because, the moon is a wider orb. This document was in progress, probably while the moon sextiling the ascendant. So I would tend to kind of think that I'll throw that in the favor, because it's not like a baby popping out. People, they were in the process of signing this document or, collecting to do this, but we had to give it some kind of a, now it's done time, but the moon being that type of influence, we'll give it to it. So that's kind of nice. I'm just throwing it out there, that little sextile, because we have the inconjuncts the other way around, with the sun to those. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. So, it's like the outer, what I always think about the sun and the ascendant when they're in conjunct, it's like and then in this case, with the United States, it's 1 degree off, with the sun and the ascendant 12 and 13 degrees, where the moon is a little bit further off, it's at 27. So sun and ascendant being almost exactly in conjunct there, like perfect, it would just make it's sort of, what do I think? You can't get along with yourself, or you're different from how you appear. You don't have how you appear is not how you really sometimes are. The front to the world is different, is way different, or has nothing really in common with the core issue of the sun. So there's that little bit of a disagreement, and that's kind of an interesting thing to debate. Probably it would be a fun little topic to get into a little bit more, just because what's the outer expression of the sun? What is that, like the sun of the United States being in Cancer, and then having that in conjunct with that Sagittarian goof, honest, frank exterior, with that Cancerian, sensitive, inside. Frankness meets shyness. So, hey, frank meets shy. So that we got that thing kind of going on. And then we got this cool, calm, cool, collected moon, so trying to be cool. Hey, I'm cool. So that's kind of like the United States, has a heart, is a big character, because look at over here. The next thing now you start diving in. This is what I like about, looking at a chart. All of a sudden things that, start sucking you in, you'll see it. So the next thing that gets my attention is this big stellium over here in Cancer. It's like, not only was I, looking at the sun, but I'm going, whoa, look at Venus, conjunct Jupiter. Wow. Two nice benefic planets, right? So Venus, values, money, relationships, what you like, in nice cushy Cancer. It's a good place that, Venus likes to be there, next to Jupiter, in nice cushy Cancer that can expand and feel comfortable, a little bit, far enough away from the sun so it's not burning it out, right? It's like, we got 8 degrees and 10 degrees, so that's nice. I was thinking of another thing about that. So we got Venus, and then you've got no, it's not quite. I was thinking if it's a midpoint, but it's not quite, it's too close together. But anyway, I digress. Above the sun there, or it's just past it, but we have it in retrograde, is Mercury. So we got Mercury, a good, 11 degrees away from the sun on the other side of, it's 24 degrees, but, it's retrograde. And then the other planet in the United States chart, it's retrograde, which my mind sees it's what it's opposite, it's on the other side over there of Pluto, and Pluto in Capricorn retrograde. Other than the moon nodes, but nothing else is retrograde. Being summer, that's interesting. None of the outer planets are retrograde other than Pluto at that time. Huh. So, United States, with the Mercury retrograde, definitely thinking different, and then if it's in Cancer, it feels different, because remember we talked about, Mercury being in that feeling sign, it's kind of subduing the mind and making it think, or making it feel rather than just think. So the mind is not like real strong here, that it's, Mercury, it's not its strongest point to be in a feeling sign, but it's putting that energy into, has to feel. But then it's got to oppose, a close opposition over there, Pluto. So, the Mercury is a planet that goes between hell and back. It goes, to Hades and back, and it was the messenger. And it's, able to go into the depths, into looking at that. And it's just a bit off, which is nice. It doesn't have to be right on it. That would kind of suck. It'd be really intense. Mercury right over the volcano all the time. It's a little off, which is nice, but it's retrograde, they're both retrograde. So they're, Pluto would be moving a little slower. Mercury would be moving faster, away from it. It's kind of like Pluto would be trying to catch it, but it's going too slow. And Mercury, and it's retrograde that way. But after, the United States was born, Mercury had to go direct, and then it had to then go over Pluto. I don't know, once. Well, it was retrograde, had to go over one more time, because this was its second hit, right? So it would have to go over again. So that's interesting. If you're thinking about that, in the buildup of the United States, before, sign this declaration, Mercury was going over Pluto, and then it came back right here, and it's, passed, and then it's going to go again. I bet we'll have to look at that, but I've got a couple other things I want to share. But this is how you can have fun tripping out. Well, I'd like to look at the United States again, and we'll animate it, but I want to look at this for now. So anyway, I digress. So the United States, we have this stellium here in Cancer, 2 retrograde planets that happen to be, opposing each other, the only ones. And there they are standing off. Mercury. So I think that sets a big tone, though, for the United States, that it's always going to be getting to the bottom of information, or when perverted, like now when we're having our Pluto return, the information is going to try to be suppressed and hidden. Try to not be. It's going to try to hide. You don't have cookie crumbs on your, it's like, you got cookie crumbs on your face. You're not supposed to eat the cookie. No, I didn't eat no cookies. We got crumbs all over you. No, I don't. I'll just gaslight you. Right? Okay. So that nice little stellium here. And then we have before that, Mars in Gemini. And I like Mars in Gemini better than I like Mars in Cancer. So I'm glad it's in that area, and it just gives that more mental drive, since the United States doesn't have a lot of mental kind of stuff. I think that Mars there in that mental sign, and it's like 2, Gemini kind of gives it some extra mentality. Okay. And then it just kind of a far away, cousin there, a little bit away from Uranus. So it's interesting that we have all of that group of those, those planets there in the 7th house. And then we have Uranus, still in Gemini, but it's over there in the 6th house. So we'll have to discuss those a little bit more, about health and some of that, but that's interesting. So we've got a big 7th house emphasis. So we've got 4 planets in the 7th, and that's an air house, right? And let's see, we would have 1, 2, 3 in the earth houses, because we got a planet in the 2nd house, a planet in the 6th house, and a planet in the 10th house, if I'm counting right. You can see it right. Let's see, gotta move this over here. Yeah. What was that 9th house? 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a little tilted there. So no, let's see, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So 9, 10, but still there's 1 there. Okay. So still, yeah, 3 in the earth houses. An air. And we had another air. So we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the air houses. Okay, so we got a little emphasis by point, and I don't want to go through all that, just be stuck on that. But we got some air houses too, so that would add more to the emphasis of the United States, having that Libra overtones with all of those planets over in, in the 7th house, and then we have, another one down here, the moon. over in the Gemini house, air house. Okay. So what else we got here? First assessment. We've got, that interesting opposition. We have that stellium. We have sun, moon, and rising that doesn't totally get along with each other. There's just not a lot in common. It's not like, having them all in the same, all in an earth sign or something. What type of chart is this? Let's see. We have maybe, because we might to take away that north node. So forget that the north node is there when we're looking at this. It's almost like three little groups, even though we got the moon and Pluto, they're 30 degrees away from each other, but still that's like a little group. And then we have the little group up on the top. So it's almost like our little tripod scenario there. Okay, kind of an odd one here. All right, what else do we see here? We've got this big empty space here with the 11th, 12th, and the first house. So nothing rounding that corner. And then other than the moon being right here, the very beginning of this house, not a lot there in the third house, nothing in the fourth, nothing in the fifth. But yet we have Aries on the cusp of the fifth house. I was going to say, that doesn't seem like the United States, it likes its fun. 29 degrees Aries on the cusp of the fifth house. Well, at least there's Aries there, which would be a lot of the creativities and creativeness that the United States has. But then remember, it's at that one of those critical degrees where it's kind of wanting to be the next. And it's like, what, 53 minutes? And again, this chart is kind of moving. I think it was slightly in flux, the whole signing before it actually came in. So I would say that on one level, it's sort of earlier, it would embody it a bit earlier with just that in mind of a chart sign. I mean, a document signing as opposed to being like a birth of a person. All right. Now, that just gives us a little flavor of the United States. We can go more into it, but I just wanted to get acquainted with some of the, you got to look at that with, what are we looking at? Now let's go and let me see if I have this on here already. The bi-wheel. No, won't do it. All right, so let me make a bi-wheel and then I'll switch screens in just a second. So we can look at look at the whole thing. United States and outer wheel. We'll start there. Okay, so stop share, actually new share. And I think this one. All right, so if you cannot see this bi-wheel, let me know. Otherwise, you should be seeing the chart of the United States in the middle and the chart of today, the transits for today on the outer side. All right, so this is today. And let's animate this. Now, hopefully you can see that. Hopefully it got bigger, and I'm going to move this ahead. Let's see. Let's go by month. You'll see in a minute. Hopefully this will work. Month. I'm going to move it to. Let's move it to the day of the election, November 8th. Now, hopefully you can see. I'm going to leave it right there for now. You can see it says up in the upper right, the event. It says events of November 8th, 2022. If you do not see that, let me know and I will redo my screen. Okay, if we're good. All right, so what do we see? The first thing I see, my red always catches my eyes, and I just seen this Mars go over the United States as Mars. So it's retrograde, so it's coming back. And I actually looked to see when it first went over it, and I believe it was October 4th. So about a month before this, actually, let's look at that because that may be a key time. Let me go back a month. Oh, there we go. October. And I'm going to go days back. There it is. Okay. So I I think we have to look at a few things as we come into this. I mean, because this is going to be big. There's a lot of stuff that's in flux that doesn't want this event to happen. There's a lot of things going on now with this. So let's look at like the first thing. There may be even something before this, but we'll start it here. I got to start somewhere. So I see Mars conjunct Mars. That is always very energized. It could be, I guess it could be violent. It could be drive, energy. I mean, just think Mars, and it happens, what is it, every 2 years, is that the orbit of Mars, about almost 2 years. But still, this is when it happens. That's how astrology works. It's like, well, some things are rare, some things are, more often, but it's still Mars on Mars. That's intense. So that makes me think that may be a key day, that there may be something going on there. But let's see what else we can see. Mercury, let's go to the top. Mercury would have just gone over Pluto. So maybe, Mercury communication, I'm not Pluto, I'm sorry, Neptune. Mercury just transited over because Mercury's at 24, Neptune's at 22. So a couple days before or whatever, maybe it's, because, Mercury goes pretty quick, would have transited over Neptune. So Mercury communications, any kind of, media, and then Neptune, we got illusion or disillusion. So maybe some kind of a disillusion, some kind of a fake, something faked, something, I don't know. First thing comes to mind is like this fake disclosure stuff. I don't know, just, or more false information on a big level, a big disillusionment, or a big reveal of a disillusionment. Maybe Toto pulls back the curtain. Something, we have a communication and we have Neptune sort of happened, okay, just before. Now we have Mars on Mars. Something maybe riles people up and pisses them off. I don't know, something in that arena. This is also going on, of course, while we have the Pluto return. So the whole thing is charged with the first Pluto return, and now, currently we got the little retrograde. It gets a little break, but then it's still, it's going to cross over that soon. But I mean, it's there now. It's that close. It's just intense. All right, what else do we see? Let's look around. Oh, so Sun. Sun would be squaring the sun. We got the sun at 11 degrees Libra, transiting sun at that, squaring the United States sun at 13 Cancer. So sun square sun, that's nice, right? That's kind of gnarly. It's like it's poking who you are, kind of. So, okay, we got another little problem area there. So that's like an identity or something visual, something big. All right, sun square sun. What else do we see? I'm not going to look at the moon yet, other than it just being in Aquarius. Well, I guess we have to, because the transiting moon, at this time, when was it? I picked the time as just here 10 to 4 in the afternoon. But the moon, will then go over United States moon, right? I mean, it'll transit over Saturn down there. So that's kind of shitty as well. The moon had just went over Pluto, as it's making that aspect to the United States natal Pluto. So that's going to bring up, emotional depths, ew. And then it's going to be over there, opposing the United States is, God, this astrobabble, sometimes it gets crazy. Communications here, Mercury, there we go. So the moon, okay, here we go. The moon will be transiting over, conjuncting current Pluto, the United States' natal Pluto, and it will be opposing the United States' Mercury. And then we have this Mercury Neptune thing going on in present. So here's where we can now, I guess, get some clues as to what things are going on. We've got Mercury involved in this opposition here to Pluto. This Pluto return, I should say, not just Pluto. It's in opposition to the Pluto return this day, just about, close enough. and then you have transiting Mercury. Did I say that right? So no, I didn't say that right. United States' Pluto is lined up with this Pluto, and the transiting Pluto is lined up with its own natal Mercury. The moon would have transited over that, of course, and then conjuncted the Plutos and opposed the natal Mercury. That's what I was trying to say. So the Pluto went over that. I mean, the moon went over that. Jesus. So that's pretty heavy. While the transiting Mercury is, conjuncting and going over United States Neptune. So that's what I'm saying. The Mercury, the disillusionment, the mind somehow getting communicating. There's something communicating some stuff here. Moon going over that. The moon is a trigger. So the moon is going to have gone over that. Then it hits Saturn, and then it hits the natal moon. Okay. So this is all like, whoa, this is the 4th. We didn't even get to the election day yet, but I wanted to look back because I think the election day is, even though it's intense, there's a lot of crazy aspects on that. I think it's something is setting up for that. But let's look some more. All right, so back we got transiting. Let's say how about we got Saturn. We know the moon's going to go over here, but let's look at what Saturn is doing anywhere else. Saturn, is it trining the United States' Saturn? Air to air. Now that's good. See, it's retrograded. Just would have gone over it. I mean, it kind of is, I guess, now. Where the area. And then backward and forth. So Saturn is trining the United States' Saturn. It's happening now, and it will continue. So that's good. That's maybe getting some justice coming out. Saturn is in a good aspect with the natal Saturn. And then again, the United States, we already said it has those overtones of Libra. So this is good. So maybe this is bringing up justice. Maybe these people are really fed up. And then here we have the go with good Saturn being in good aspect with itself rather than a square to that. Okay, so if it were squared, it would be kind of like more gnarly. But I think the trine here is good help. All right, what else do we got going on here? So is it making any more to anything else here? 18. It's in conjuncting United States Sun. So it's past that now. So I don't even go past it. It's already past it. And we know we've been dealing with that. Okay, so Neptune, well, look at there. And Neptune's going to add into it, transiting Neptune. It's 23 Pisces retrograde. So it's going to go back. It was, again, it's close enough. It's making an opposition to the United States' Neptune. So there's more disillusionment, and then also making an opposition over to, the transiting, or transiting Mercury is making an aspect to transiting Neptune at the same time. Okay, so look at that. So there it is. I'm convinced. I think this is it. There's going to be communicated disillusionment of something. And we just kind of, maybe tarot would help distill out what that's going to be about. But look at this. Okay. And then now we have the next planet. We've had Jupiter getting closer to the end of Aries here. 2 degrees. Well, that's been making. Okay, so we got Jupiter. This is interesting. Okay, so Jupiter now transiting Jupiter, making a square over to its natal position, more or less, and to Venus. So transiting Jupiter square, United States, Jupiter, and Venus. So that's interesting. So Jupiter makes me think large, on a large scale. So large scale stuff going to be affecting our values. Yeah. Whoa. Okay, what else we got here? Moon nodes. That's a whole topic in and of itself. Here we got the transiting north node. At that time it'd be 14 degrees. Nice, making a sextile over to the sun. I like to just kind of look maybe at squares and oppositions and think going directly over it, but nonetheless, it's interesting. North node, what we're coming into, in sun, sextile, it's a nicer relationship though. So there may be some good stuff underneath all the pile of shit. It's like maybe finally things are starting, what people are starting to get an upper hand. Starting. Maybe the fence has got to come down first. All right. What else we got going on here? The Uranus, we still have this here. Anything United States inside. It's past. It would be, no, not there, not there. I guess it's getting, look here, it would be, it's a trine over to Neptune. We got something else tying into Neptune. So we have, then that's sudden, we have the, Uranus in Taurus and, transiting Uranus, making an aspect over to the United States is Neptune and transiting Mercury as well. Just got to remember that. So sudden, out of the blue, uncanny, you wouldn't believe it, Uranian kind of things. Maybe that's going to be some of our adjectives about what might go down. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't even see this one. I know when you start looking at stuff, and that day or that time, we have this this square here. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's when this gets almost perfect again. Look at this. That's right. We did look at that. It gets like within like a few, I mean, less than a degree. The Uranus and Saturn square, of course. I know sometimes you're looking so close at things, you forget some of the most obvious, but that's at that time transiting, this transit here of the Uranus and Saturn, which always brings every time, there's always monetary disruptions. Yeah, that's when there's been all the different crashes, .coms, the bubbles, the markets, the things drop, all of that kind of stuff happens. So look at that. I think it's almost exact, maybe within a few days. I think it's like the 9th or 10th when it's exact. All right, so let's just go. Let's look. Let's see when it is here. Oh, that's interesting. Moon's moving in there. So we got 45. I think that's just there. I think it was like here 42 and 47. All right, so yeah, the no, 42. Oops, I'm looking at the wrong one. 18. Nope, a little bit back. It's retrograde slow. Yeah, it's a little bit later in the month, but it's still pretty good. Look at it's like now look at the it moved back into 17 here. I thought I saw it do that. When did it do that? Right there on the 11th, 12th, it moved back. So that's interesting too. So look here, October 12th. Now we have this little lineup. The moon went over this retrograde. I mean, the Uranus went back 1 degree. Moon just traveled over this. So this is interesting to see now what happens like about a week later after that, that would have been the 4th. And then like now we got the 12th. So now the moon is triggered and we have it going over all of this stuff here. And then Uranus went back a degree. So usually there's stuff signaled when things like that happen. And then it would be in conjuncting over here, Uranus would be in conjuncting the sun and Venus. All right, so interesting time. Let's just keep watching. Sometimes you have to just look and see what happens. And we got the moon just went over Mars on the 15th. I think October is going to be a crazy month. Now we have look at Mercury's starting to close in on the sun and Venus. I don't want to miss anything else. What else we got going on? Oh, look at the bottom of the chart. Look at we're going to have this lineup here with Neptune and Jupiter. Jupiter's almost at the end of Aries, but here let's go on. Look at okay, okay, the moon is going to line up. Okay, what day was it? 21st, 22nd now. 10-2-2-2-2-2. This is an interesting day. This is getting closer. I think it's going to be one more. And the moon is now starting to go into Libra. Okay, then we have a little bit. Oh, look at that. Just that happened. All right, so here on the 22nd, look at what time we have 3 in the afternoon. That's still pretty close. we have both the sun and Venus at the end. Look at 25 degrees. I mean, 29 degrees, 25 minutes of Libra. And they're both going to switch signs together. And the moon is going to go into the next sign. Watch the next day. Boom, on the 23rd. And then, so we almost had a total, what I was thinking of, like we'd have a lineup with the moon, but we have a lineup of things here. But then as the moon comes over and we get the new moon, almost, let's not go quite days. Let's go hours here. It's almost a new moon. All right. Oh, right at the beginning of sign. There it is. Okay, so October 25th is another interesting day. We have the new moon. So we got all of this energy lining up right here in Scorpio. And then as they get, the sun and the moon get further into the Scorpio, they're going to start to oppose the North Node and Uranus. Okay, so more surprises. Let's watch. Let's go by days. Okay, so we have, first of all, the moon, just our new moon went over that. So we had that tight little group of stuff. So now let's just look through days here. Those are the most exciting things at the moment going on. Okay, so we got the little group on the top of the chart here. Mercury. So here we got all the stuff in Scorpio. Mercury, the sun in the middle. This is almost like the midpoint between these two, so wow. So we got really deep investigating now. We've got things starting, we got the sun, Venus, our values, the sun, the outer expression. We got Mercury looking close at everything. And then as Mercury goes, over, I don't know if it's going to be slowing down. Well, maybe if it's going, no, I don't think it will. I think it's going to retrograde. I don't think it's going to pass the sun there. Anyway, we got this little group going together. And then right around here, what day is this? November 3rd. Okay, look at, we got one thing starting to happen. Well, we just missed the Mars thing. I already said a few days before that. That was Mars. Well, I don't want to go all the way back to October, but we had that one Mars. I started out our thing here with Mars Mars sitting on the United States Mars. So that's where we came in. So we had that happen. Okay, just add that in. And then let's go look at this group here. So now we have on the 3rd, coming into that whole week, we've got Venus. We've got Venus over here opposing the North Node. And then we have the sun about to oppose the North Node. And then we'll have Venus about to oppose Uranus. So let's look. Okay, here we go now, the 4th. The 5th, now Venus is now starting to oppose Uranus. And then there we have the 6th, Venus opposed Uranus. And here we go, look at the sun. Both of them, one and then one in the other. Wow, look at this math on how this stuff works. So Venus exactly opposing Uranus on November 6th, and then the sun exactly opposing the North Node, with Mercury close by, talking about the whole thing. Whoa. So here may be some more, our financial stuff starting to go on. And look at with Saturn, over there, still in that square. And then Mars still with Mars. Wow. Then let's go to the day itself. Okay, so 7th. Now we have the sun and Mercury conjunct. And that is trining over to United States sun. Yay. Mercury or Venus would have just trined over to the sun. So that's bringing some light on our values, right? We got at least the trine going to the United States sun, and its own, they just went over the United States's Venus and, trine that when they were in the earlier degrees. All right. And then one more day. Hang in there. There's a lot. And then look at Mercury slowing down. It's traveling with the sun here. Staying conjunct. And then we have Venus, there. What time is it there? It's at It's 4 in the morning. Let me just go up by a few hours and get the moon around there. Let's get it to later in the day. Let's get around noon or 1 o'clock, whatever. Okay. Yeah, actually, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring the moon over. Hour. Yeah, okay, so that day, that whole day, the moon, okay, look at the moon at 6 in the morning. It's between, the moon is between, it's closer to Uranus, you know, a little bit earlier. It's between the North Node and Uranus. So it is, it is exactly right there. You know, that's our full moon. And I think that we have an eclipse here. This is an eclipse full moon because it's right there on the node. Wow. Okay, so look at, here we go. Whoa. Oh my goodness, this is just, I just can't believe like all the stuff on these days, on these times. I mean, when you really look at stuff, and I love this program to be able to, you know, solar fire is amazing to be able to do this. So here we go, later in the day, we've got the moon, you know, traveled over that stuff. It was making all the aspects to all this stuff over here. Some really, I think, hidden stuff coming out. There's going to be some, you know, really rock and roll stuff happening. And I wanted to take a little time to unpack that. Wow. Wow, there's a lot. And then back, you know, to the bottom, look at, we've got transiting, you know, Jupiter's getting close over to Neptune. There again, you know, when there's that exact Neptune opposition to the natal you know, opposition, Neptune right there with your big planet of Jupiter close by and in Pisces. So big disillusion, a big, you know, watery. I mean, it just makes me think real Neptunian, like there's just some shenanigans. Maybe it's being called out, but this is really interesting. There's a lot here. It'd be interesting to go over some more discourse of this, but just that is pretty profound. Wow. Okay, so that being said, let's go look at transits for today. Let me stop share, and then let me get a new share. Make sure you can see it. Transits August 9th. Okay, I think we can see it. We got another nice chart here. This is what I guess the Rick Levine type charts. I think this was his the way he puts it. So which is cool. It was is one of the selects in this program. All right, I'm hoping you can see this. So let's look at this. Let's get to animate. And I think you can still see it when I do that. So let's look at today, and let's go by, actually, let's go by days. Go by days. All right, so today, boy, that was a lot in the United States. Today, the big thing that I see today, and I took out the aspects because the things in the middle because they're too distracting, but I'm seeing there's, you know, the 8-degree sun, Mercury in Virgo. Mercury just, you know, recently moved into Virgo, is making an inconjunct over to Jupiter in Aries. All right, so it's kind of like the mind, the mental, the communications maybe just aren't quite syncing up with the larger points of view, maybe how you want things to go. Maybe there's a little bit of a disconnect on that energy, and that's exact. So that's maybe a little bit of an annoyance, or having to take care of petty things or larger petty things, or your communication is not reaching the outer side, or there's a lot to do, a lot of details maybe, you know, because we have the Mercury in Virgo there. A lot of details you don't want to do, maybe. You don't want to do that. All right, what else do we got going on? We got this nice square here happening between Mars and Saturn, you know, 22 and 23 degrees. So a little bit of a push-pull with, energy and, drive with what you got to do. It's like you got to do those things. You got deadlines. You got to put things in order. You got to use some of your drive and energy to get these Saturnian things done. It's not a fun and games, but it's putting in order in that level, or using your energy to put in order. Also, we have that square going on. As Mars just went past that, it's kind of passing. Excuse me. All right. So what I'm going to build up to, this is actually, why did we clip 2 days? It said there's not a whole lot going on. my mouse is not a lot going on. Well, look at the moon. The moon, it just went into Capricorn today, and it's going to go over Pluto. Nice. So we're going to maybe examine deep emotions, look at the depths of things, have to maybe emotionally accept things we don't want to. Maybe there's a lot of things that are bringing up, from the depth, bringing up emotions to people. It could be that. There was, what was today, the raid on President Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago, the FBI. They're making this, they're throwing everything at this guy so that he won't run. They're going to just try to stop this. So, maybe that's bringing up some emotional things, or bringing up stuff from the depths. So that just happened. All right. And we'll look at this chart here, and I want to get the moon where let's go up by hours so we can get it nice, because it's really cool to see it when it's there. So we look for, because it's exact. Moon to, what is it, 18, 19, moon. There it is. All right, 19. Okay, so this is super moon. It's it's where it's close to the earth. And then this is kind of interesting. This one,
Gary?
Yeah.
My chart didn't change while you were doing that.
No. All right. Thank you. See it now? Yep. Do you see the sun?
I do. The moon's at 19 now. It's on the other side.
Okay, good. God, I don't know why that didn't do that. It's so weird, because it was before. Anyway. Okay. The sun is, how do I say this? The moon is in Aquarius. Sun, the sun is in Leo. Okay, sun likes to be in Leo. It's its own sign. It feels happy there. But then we've got that cool, calm, collected moon. Moon is over there in Aquarius. Kind of having that emotional calming, which I think is kind of interesting at this time, because we're just having this emotional kind of ride, like the depths, looking at things. So now we get this like kind of moon as it calms here a bit, calm, cool, collected, maybe. But then Venus now goes into, the same time it goes into Leo. So now it's like, no, roar, I want to, I'm passionate about something again. But it's got this little thing at the moon. Anyway, that's just one thing I noticed. So where else is got? There's a lot of stuff going on this day. We've got, there it is. 1, 2, let's look at this here. This might start to, we were looking at some of the stuff that might be foreshadowing of this Neptune. So now I'm kind of like suspicious of Neptune. We just, things Neptunian, just listen in the news and listen for things foreshadowing about Neptune or a Neptunian. So we just had, here's a Mars sextile, 2 signs away, would have just, just passed. So that's kind of interesting. So maybe there's some, right now I got that sextile, so it's flowing energy to that. So maybe some seeds are being planted, disillusion right now on that level. All right, and then we also have Mars just finishing that square over to Saturn. Let's see, and then it's going to be making a trine over to Pluto. So look at here, 25 degrees, within the day or two. I don't want to move it yet. It will make that nice trine to Pluto. So there's some information on going to the depths, or some drive, on getting to the depths. Maybe that this moon is going to bring that out. Having the energy and the drive and the the courage too. Maybe Mars is also courage to look at things. We're talking about the collective. People have to look at that underworld, and that Mars is, Mars and Pluto, they're buddies there, but then they're in trine, so they don't mind talking shit, talking shit to the public or bringing it out there. Those types of things are that those things are coming up. And then with the sun in Leo and then Venus in Leo just have gone into there, maybe passionate from the heart, energy, coming out. It might be bringing that emotional energy up. Okay, what else is going on that day? Got that. Told you about that one. Let's see, 19 degrees, 19. Oh, of course. We've got a big T-square. We got 18 at Uranus, and then 19, with the moon here and the, the sun and the moon. So the moon actually, will hit that north node. Actually, let me go back. I think. So look at the moon. If I can find it. Did I get it? Okay. Moon. So go back a little bit. Okay. So earlier in the day, on the 11th, earlier in the day, 6:30 in the evening, at least East Coast time, the moon is at 17, and it's going to square, just this, I want you to see the point of, it will square the north node, and then it will square Uranus, and then it will go on and square Mars. So let's look at that. So we got square, and then now we get 18, it's squaring Uranus, and then, it's going to make it, it'll then oppose the moon, the sun, and then it will go on, 19, 20, the moon 21, moon 22. Okay, so then the moon goes over and conjuncts Saturn. So this is all in the course of the day. Just starting into the next day, okay, into August 12th. So then the moon goes over there, and it's got to deal with Saturn. Oh no. And then it passes that, and then it makes that aspect to Mars. There it is. Moon 25. Okay. But right before it did that, moon, it's making a, semi-sextile over to Neptune. So they not seeing eye to eye. But then as it goes over there, and then it makes our final square, or it makes the square there to Mars. So I'm saying the moon in that 24-hour or 36-hour period is going to go through a lot. It's going to, it goes over Saturn. It makes squares to all these things. Opposes the sun. So there might have been things that I missed. There's a lot in the course of that. But I think this is going to be the key part of the time. I think really coming into, Thursday and Friday is going to be very, very interesting, very eventful. But then now let's finish it up. Let's look just at coming up to the weekend. So now I get, okay, the 15th. I didn't want to go that fast. It skips sometime. 13th. All right, so that'd be Saturday. Okay, so then moon now goes into Pisces, and then it's going to go over Neptune and probably get a little dreamy, and maybe people might have to process stuff. So it might be a little dreamy processing kind of over the weekend. The moon is in dreamy Pisces, and then it will get, it's the beginning of the week, then it'll get into Aries. So those are the big things. Let's go to another day. See what else we see. Yeah, there it is. It's going over Pisces. I'm going over Pisces. The moon in Pisces is going to be going over Neptune, and then it'll go into Aries, go over Jupiter. So it might have to take some little meditation time, and then get fired up, so the moon then goes over Jupiter, and, moon is trigger. It's going to trigger things, and then we've got that stellium up there in Taurus. So that starts to get triggered, gets riled up as the sun, would have made squares to that the last few days, made square, we showed you that before it went, the sun would have made squares to North Node Uranus before it made the full moon. And then it, as it goes on through the sign, it'll then square, sun will square the last planet up there, Mars, looking right at it, and then that will bring some intensities, but that's next week. Oh, what else going on? Get to what's going on the 15th here. Nothing else changed signs yet, other than the moon. But that's a lot. One more day, 16th. That'd be next week. Okay. So that's a lot. And, back to just showing you the picture of that moon again. I mean, that full moon again. I don't think I have it the right exact, but you get the idea of all of those other planets lining up. And then the moon again would have, it would have gone over. Remember this, because as we're coming into this, like, I know we go through a lot in this, and your mind is sort of like blah, 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 astro bubble. But the thing I would take away from this week is this full moon, and then the moon has got to make some nasty angles. Okay, it's got to first of all, down here, it's got to go meet up with Pluto. Okay, it's got to go over Pluto, and then it's got to oppose Venus, and then it's got to go. And then it does its opposition to the sun, and then it has to go over Saturn. So that's quite a week, and then it was making what did I say? It's making some aspects to all of this stuff up here. And, it's making squares to North Node, Uranus, and Mars. So there's going to be a little bit of intense stuff. It's going to be looking at the depth, with Pluto, dealing with values with Venus. It's got to be, opposing that. And then, we've got the full moon energy, things culminating, saying the end of things, cutting losses, saying goodbye, getting rid of shit you don't need. And then I think that's part of it, going quickly over to Saturn, with all that. Then, the moon quickly goes to Saturn, is then, throwing that stuff out of that drawer, ending those, tying off loose ends, people that you don't really want to be a part of. Like, that's it, done with that. And because that then it's making the noise, it's making the squares, going all this stuff over the top. You've got the North Node where you're taking stuff in. Uranus, you just kind of suddenly feel like doing it, and then the energy to do it, Mars. So that, I think, is the big takeaway of this time coming up. It's an important week, and it's an important time we have coming in. I still think we should pay a lot of attention to what's going on. Try to get sources of what's really in the news, what's the real news, not the fake news. Keep understanding that we're watching a movie, we're watching a bunch of crap, we're watching a disillusionment, and to just follow your heart, to find your own inter wisdom within all this, and just stay safe, stay out of the direct fire, but still have your civil disobedience, speak your mind, put up stickers, tell people about things. But yeah, that's it. All right. So I guess we're right at the bottom of the hour here, and we'll just keep watching United States. I thought it was very interesting. We'll keep looking at that a little bit, and then we'll see what more we can see as we come up to this interesting time that we're in. All right, more to follow. Talk to y'all later. Bye now.